So we continue with analytical chemistry over here, and in the analytical chemistry we had done first was the reactions of sodium hydroxide with the salts. Now we are going to take the ammonium hydroxide and use the different salts which are going to be there. So first of all we start with calcium as usual. So we are saying that calcium CaNO3 twice plus NH4OH. So that is, yeah, so now this reaction over here does not give you any precipitate of CaOH twice form because of the concentration of OH ions is low and cannot precipitate the CaOH. So this reaction is not going to take place. So this is no OH minus formed. Okay, so this can be an identification method also when I want to identify between calcium and let's say zinc. I know that calcium and zinc both are going to give me white color precipitate. So how do I identify that which will be calcium and which will be zinc? So this one thing is that if I am using ammonium hydroxide will give no precipitate in case of calcium, but with zinc it will give me a white color precipitate. So this is how we can identify between calcium and any other white colored precipitate. So that was about calcium. Now we move about to ferrous. So ferrous is FeSO4 plus NH4OH. It is going to be 2 NH4OH is going to give me as NH4SO4. NH4 twice SO4. Yeah, I'll just check this out. And plus it will be FeOH twice. So again, FeOH twice we very well know this was originally green in color. So the color what we are going to get over here will be dirty green. So it will be dirty green colored precipitate. So a dirty green colored precipitate is going to be given out when we are taking the ferrous salts. Now again, if I put it excess, so if I take excess amount of NH4OH, it is going to be still remaining insoluble. So that's the identification that ferrous, that is any ferrous salt that is Fe2 salts which are going to be green in color, when they are going to react with ammonium hydroxide, they are just going to give me ferrous hydroxide, that is going to be FeOH twice, and they will be giving me a dirty green precipitate. This FeOH twice, if I react with excess amount of NH4OH, it is still going to give me an insoluble salt only. So it is not soluble even in excess of ammonium hydroxide. The next we see is Fe. Oh, I missed one. Okay, I'll take magnesium after this. The next one is FeCl3. So this FeCl3 over here is FeCl3 plus 3NH4OH is going to give me over here NH4Cl plus FeOH thrice, which will be again, this was red in color, so because it was red in color, it is going to give me the same thing as reddish brown colored precipitate. So it will be reddish brown colored precipitate is going to be given out, and which again in excess will be insoluble. So this is the reaction what you are going to have. The balancing goes this way, there are 3 over here and 3 over here, 3 NH4Cl, and then yeah, that's right. So this is the reaction. So ferric chloride when it reacts with ammonium hydroxide, it is going to give me ferric hydroxide. This ferric hydroxide so obtained is going to be reddish brown in color. So a precipitate of reddish brown color is going to be seen, which is again insoluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide. We see next one is the magnesium, that is MgCl2. So MgCl2 when I react it with 2 NH4OH, so this is going to give me 2 NH4Cl, and it is going to give me MgOH twice. So this again is a precipitate. Now this originally was white in color, so it also gives me again a dull white color precipitate. So this is going to give me a dull white precipitate, which is again insoluble in excess of the same salt. So you will see that magnesium is also insoluble in excess. So yeah, magnesium and calcium के बीच में अगर differentiation करना है तो यहाँ पे ये easy है. both normally are white in color, so you don't know whether it is calcium or calcium nitrate or magnesium chloride. तो इसके अंदर सिंपल है NH4OH डालो, एक के अंदर कोई OH फॉर्मेशन नहीं होगा, so there is no precipitate form, whereas दूसरे के अंदर white precipitate हो रहा है, so you know that it is magnesium. So this was about the first four. Now we go to the next one, and that is copper. Now comes copper. Copper is, you're going to take CuSO4, which is again blue in color. This reacts with NH4OH. It gives you, so it is 2NH4OH. It is going to give me as NH, okay. It will give me NH4SO4, NH4 twice SO4. Okay, NH4 twice SO4 plus CuOH twice. This of course will be a pale blue colored precipitate. The precipitate is of pale blue color. Now over here it is seen that if I react this further with NH4OH, then it is going to give me different results. Now over here there are two possibilities. One possibility is that I allow this also to react with this thing. So the reaction could be like CuOH twice plus NH4 twice SO4 plus excess of NH4OH. So if this is the condition wherein I am taking into consideration even this thing which is being generated over here, in that case I am going to get the reaction to be as going to be soluble water. Again it will be water, which is 4H2O, plus I am going to get here as zinc. So it is okay. So it gives me as tetraamine zinc sulfate. Okay, what it gives me is a complex salt which is a tetraamine zinc sulfate. Now tetraamine zinc sulfate is going to give you a colorless solution because it is soluble in nature. So this is soluble, and hence it gives you a colorless solution. Okay, so you see here that copper hydroxide along with the ammonium hydroxide along with the ammonium sulfate and the ammonium hydroxide in excess is going to give me water, plus it is going to give me a complex salt that is nothing but tetraamine. See, 4 is over here, that means tetra. Ammonia is NH4, NH3 is ammonia, so it is amine, it's tetraamine zinc sulfate. Okay, it's tetraamine zinc sulfate is going to be there, and this over here is, this is not a colorless solution, it has got a color in it, and that color is deep blue or inky blue. So it is a deep blue or inky blue solution. Okay, there will be a deep blue or inky blue solution which is tetraamine zinc sulfate. Even if it so happens that I am not taking this part and only taking this part, so if I take over here just CuOH twice and react with the excess of NH4OH in excess, even then I am going to get the same kind of a resultant thing. That will be, I am going to get over here as 4H2O plus it is going to give me one second. Okay, I made a mistake, I just shifted up. Zinc kahan se aaya? Cu. Okay, there is tetraamine copper sulfate, which is a deep blue color. Yeah, that's why I thought, why I wrote soluble over there. Yeah, fine. Okay, means colorless because I took that zinc part. Fine. So this is going to give me as, again it is going to give me the same thing, and that is going to be the hydroxide. So here it was giving me a sulfate, but now it will give me a hydroxide. So it is going to be CuNH3 4 times, and then it is going to give me OH twice. So this is going to give me OH twice. So this is going to be tetraamine copper hydroxide. Okay, this is tetraamine copper hydroxide. But the color of this is because of this part, and that is again it will be deep blue or inky blue. So the color will still remain deep blue or inky blue. So remember this thing, that whenever you are going to have this reaction taking place, in case of ammonium hydroxide, when copper is reacting, first of all you get a pale blue color, and then when you react with excess, then you are going to get deep blue or inky blue color solution, because in either case, whether you are taking sulfate, then it will be giving you tetraamine copper sulfate, or it is going to be tetraamine copper hydroxide. Both are deep blue or inky blue solutions. Both are soluble in nature. The next what we see is zinc sulfate. So again, it is going to be ZnSO4 plus 2NH4OH. 2NH4OH is going to give me as NH4 twice SO4 plus ZnOH twice. Now this of course is the same thing as gelatinous white precipitate. So the precipitate formed will be a gelatinous white precipitate, which or dirty white color. Now when I take it in excess, so again we are going to have the same kind of reaction over here. We are having both the reactions where we are taking this also or without this also. So we have the first equation as ZnOH twice plus NH4 twice SO4 plus excess of NH4OH. Excess is going to give me the same reaction over here as 4H2O plus it is going to give me ZnNH3 4SO4, which is going to be a soluble one, and it is going to be colorless. So it will be colorless soluble. Okay, so what it gives me is tetraamine zinc sulfate. It is going to give me as tetraamine zinc sulfate when I am taking excess of ammonium hydroxide over here. Now same thing, if I do not take a sulfate, then I don't get a sulfate, I get an hydroxide. So it will be ZnOH twice plus NH4OH is going to give me over here 4H2O plus ZnNH3 4OH. Okay, that is going to be tetraamine zinc hydroxide. So tetraamine zinc hydroxide is going to be there, tetraamine zinc hydroxide, which is the colorless solution over here. So this is how you identify the zinc. So zinc can be identified with ammonium hydroxide, that if you react it with ammonium hydroxide, firstly it will give you a white, gelatinous white or dirty white color precipitate, and when you put excess of it, then if you remove the sulfate and do excess of it, it is going to give me tetraamine zinc sulfate. But if I don't remove the zinc sulfate, ammonium sulfate and then do it, then it is going to give me means अगर सिर्फ precipitate का part है, उसमें सिर्फ मैंने ज़्यादा NH4OH डाल दिया. See, it is very easy because this is the precipitate. So either thing is that precipitate के साथ में पूरे का पूरा liquid जो उसमें NH4OH डाला, या तो हम लोग ने precipitate को sediment decantation से precipitate को नीचे रहने दिया और बाकी का ऊपर का NH4OH निकाल दिया liquid. तो उसके बाद में NH4OH डाला, तो it is going to give me tetraamine zinc hydroxide. The last reaction over here is with the lead nitrate. So lead nitrate. So we get over here PbNO3 twice plus NH4OH is going to give me over here as 2 NH4OH is going to give me 2NH4NO3 plus PbOH twice, which is nothing but a precipitate which is going to be chalky white in color. So chalky white, and it is in excess insoluble. So insoluble in excess of NH4OH. So here again, very important thing. If you remember, when we used sodium hydroxide over here, in sodium hydroxide, in both the cases, they were insoluble in excess. But when I am using ammonium hydroxide, I can see that in case of the zinc, I am getting as a colorless soluble solution, whereas the lead is not giving a soluble thing, it is giving me an insoluble thing. So that's why we see that the identification, जब भी मुझे identify करना है, if I want to differentiate between two salts, so I given two white salts, one is a lead salt and other is a zinc salt. So lead salt and zinc salt अगर मेरे पास रहेगा, दोनों white कलर का, तो मैं identify कैसे करूँगा? तो I am going to use excess amount of NH4OH. If excess amount NH4OH में अगर, क्योंकि दोनों में जो white मिले, अभी gelatinous white और chalky white actually identify करना possible नहीं है. Okay, I cannot say अरे जिसमें gelatinous white मिलेगा वो zinc है और जिसमें chalky white मिलेगा वो ये है lead है. नहीं, you cannot identify white so easily. Okay, white will be white only. तो इसीलिए जेलेटिनियस और चौकी में इतना ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं आएगा. सो मोर प्रोमिनेंट क्या होगा, इफ आई एम यूजिंग एक्सेस और एक के अंदर मुझे कलरलेस सॉल्यूशन मिलेगा, that is no precipitate at all, that is zinc, and one which gives me a precipitate will be lead. Okay, so this is how you identify the cations present in a salt using sodium hydroxide or potassium or ammonium hydroxide. Now we move on to the next part of the chapter, that is the action of alkali on certain metals and their oxides. So as I told you earlier in the first video, that we can see that the oxides of aluminium, lead and tin, they are called as amphoteric substances, because these substances can behave as a acid or a base, and accordingly it can react with acids to give you salt and water, and also can react with the base to give you salt plus water. So whenever if you are taking any metal like aluminium, lead or tin, first of all, when you react it with an alkali, it is going to react as if it is an acid. So that's why it is going to give you hydrogen gas. Okay, so that's the first thing what you are going to study, that is the reaction of the metals aluminium, lead and tin when you react them with acids, react them with bases. Okay, see, normally what will happen, it is only hydrogen gas will be evolved from metals only with acids. The acids do not, when anything reacts with, the metals react with acid, they give hydrogen gas. The metals do not react with alkali to give you hydrogen gas. So it is only this unique property of these three elements, that is aluminium, lead and tin, lead and zinc. Okay, so this is the reaction. Certain metals, for example zinc, aluminium and lead, react with hot concentrated caustic alkali, that is NaOH or KOH, to give the corresponding soluble salt and liberate hydrogen. So the reaction goes this way, that if I take Zn and I react it with 2NaOH, it is going to give me over here as sodium zincate. Okay, sorry, it is going to give me sodium zincate plus hydrogen gas is going to be evolved. So when I react NaOH, it is going to be sodium zincate. Same thing, if I take the zinc and I use 2KOH, again I am going to get a zincate, but it will be K2ZnO2, that is potassium zincate plus hydrogen gas is going to be evolved. Okay, so potassium zincate is going to be formed with potassium hydroxide and sodium zincate with sodium hydroxide. The same reaction also is true for lead. So lead Pb plus Na2OH, okay, will again give me the same way. It will be Na2PbO2. This is nothing but sodium plumbite. Okay, it is sodium plumbite. So sodium plumbite plus hydrogen gas is going to be given out. Same thing, even if I take 2KOH, it is going to give me K2PbO2 and it gives me hydrogen gas as the end result. So potassium plumbite and sodium plumbite will be the reacting salts or the resultant salt which I get when I am reacting zinc and lead with potassium or sodium hydroxide. Similarly, we have got aluminium, so Al, so 2Al plus 2NaOH, but here you need some water also, so 2H2O is going to give me over here as 2NaAlO2, that is aluminate plus 3 hydrogen gas. Same way 2Al plus 2KOH plus 2H2O will give me 2KAlO2 plus 3H2. So when aluminium reacts with potassium hydroxide or or sodium hydroxide, it is going to give me as sodium aluminate or potassium aluminate, KaLO2 or NaAlO2, that is, and hydrogen gas is going to be given out. So this is the reaction of the metals with the alkali. Now in this case, if I don't take the metal but if I take the oxides of the metal, so here is the amphoteric part. The amphoteric part is the oxides of hydroxides of these metals. When they react with alkali, they will be reacting as if they are acids, and they will resultant will be salt and water. That is called as the amphoteric material. So action of alkali on oxides and hydroxides of certain metals. Oxides of hydroxide of zinc, aluminium and lead, that is ZnO2, ZnO, PbO, Al2O3, ZnOH twice, PbOH twice and AlOH twice, OH thrice, are amphoteric in nature, that is reacts with acid and with alkali to give you salt and water. So amphoteric oxide or hydroxide plus acid gives you salt plus water, and amphoteric oxide or hydroxide with base also gives you salt plus water. So anyway, amphoteric oxide with acid is a very simple reaction. उसको हम लोग नहीं देखते हैं because it's a simple thing that PbOH twice plus NaCl and HCl is going to be PbCl2 plus H2. So that is a simple reaction. We know it's a neutration, simple neutration reaction. But the reaction of amphoteric, that the base, that is the normally a base, that is the amphoteric base acting as an acid to react with an alkali, is the main part. So we have over here the amphoteric substances. So let's see the first one. The first thing over here is that of amphoteric oxide, that is ZnO. So ZnO plus 2NaOH is going to give me over here, resultant will be Na2ZnO2 plus H2O, that is salt plus water. Okay, it is going to give me sodium zincate plus water. So zinc oxide with ammonium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide is going to be sodium zincate plus water. So this is going to be base, that is amphoteric base with base is going to be salt plus water. Amphoteric hydroxide oxide with the alkali giving me salt plus water. Same way, if I take ZnOH twice, it is going to give me the same reaction. ZnOH twice by NaOH twice, 2 NaOH is going to give me as Na2ZnO2 plus H2O. It's the same reaction, only here balancing will be changing to equals 2H2O. That's the only difference which is over here. So you see over here that even the zinc hydroxide, when it reacts with a base, it is going to give me salt plus water. The salt so formed will be a zincate. So zincate will be formed with zinc hydroxides, plumbite will be formed by lead hydroxide oxides, and aluminate will be formed by aluminum oxide or hydroxide. The next is the lead PbO. So PbO plus 2NaOH. Same reaction will be Na2PbO2 plus H2O, and again PbOH twice plus 2NaOH is going to give me Na2PbO2 plus 2H2O. So the reactions are going to be the same in case of lead and zinc. So lead will be is going to be sodium plumbite in both the cases, and water is going to be given out. So that is how we are going to react with the alkali, right? Now we see the same reaction using aluminium. So in the case of aluminium, the first thing is Al2O3 plus you are having 2NaOH. It's going to give me again over here Na2. Now it is 2Na2AlO2 plus it is going to give me H2O. So this is the reaction that aluminum oxide with sodium hydroxide gives me sodium aluminate. It is going to give me sodium aluminate plus water. And the same way, if I take over here AlOH thrice plus NaOH, is going to give me over here again the same thing, NaAlO2 plus there's 2H2O. Okay, exactly same thing again. Amphoteric hydroxide plus base gives you salt plus water. Okay, so this is the property of amphoteric substances. And yeah, this is true not only for NaOH. Even if I have got KOH, it is going to give me the same reaction. Hence, I can just write this two reaction in KOH also. That is Al2O3 plus 2KOH is going to give me over here 2KAlO2 plus H2O. And in this case also AlOH thrice plus KOH is going to give me KAlO2 plus 2H2O. So this reaction is true for both the things. So whether it is potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide, the reaction will be the same. It is going to give me a plumbite or a zincate or a aluminate, and water is going to be given out. So it will be salt and water only when any amphoteric hydroxide oxide is going to react with a base, that is NaOH or KOH, and it is going to give me salt plus water. Now only thing over here is that the KOH or the NaOH which is going to be which will be used is hot and concentrated. So a very important thing is this one is hot and concentrated. So it is hot and concentrated NaOH, KOH which is going to be used for this reaction. So this was the chapter analytical chemistry, a very easy chapter but very important chapter because of the different colors which are going to be found over here. Now the colors which are found over here makes it very important because the complete part of the paper which has got the part of observation can have maximum questions from here, because this are the question where colored are involved. See, observations are going to be those ones in which you can identify or you can see something very visually. So visually when you see something, in उसमें color change सबसे पहले आता है. तो color change कहाँ भी दिखेगा? तो it will be in this particular chapter that color change can be seen. Plus you will also need to differentiate between two kind of compounds. So when you are taking two kind of compounds, so उसमें कौन सा कैल्शियम है, कौन सा मैग्नीशियम है, या कौन सा जिंक है और कौन सा टिन है और लेड है, तो वो सब के लिए भी you will require this analytical chemistry, because you need to put NH4OH and say okay यहाँ पे soluble है excess में, यहाँ पे soluble नहीं है, और blue colored precipitate and deep blue, inky blue colored precipitate. So ये सब जो है, that is very important to identify this. So hence, no doubt, a very small chapter but very important chapter. Okay, that was analytical chemistry for you. Okay, thank you.